So if you've seen any of my videos, you know that I preach to broaden your horizons in this hobby, especially with Pokemon being so hard to get a hold of. Whether it be going for singles or opening sealed of another language, or even just diving into another TCG, I like to encourage people to think about other ways that they can not just like intently look at the price of a sealed box each and every day and just find other ways you can have fun out in this hobby. So that's what I'm going to do today. We're going to break down some releases that are coming up here in February, and yeah, because it's February, that does mean technically everything that we are going to talk about today is a Valentine's Day card. So we're just going to have a little bit of extra fun with that for the episode theme. And I clearly don't play or collect most of these games. And I would say, take it easy on me in the comments. But that's no fun. Absolutely rip into me in the comments because I don't know what I'm talking about. Hopefully, I don't say anything too out of line that's like completely stupid, but please correct me because I don't know most of these games. Even if I don't, collect a whole bunch of cards in any of these games, there might be just like a handful. Just like even if I can just get 9 cards of any random TCG, shit, in my book, that's a binder page right there. So that's kind of the way I'm encouraging people to look at other TCGs and even other just trading cards, other just pieces of cardboard, ephemeral collectibles, maybe comic books. I don't know. Just other ways that you can find some fun collecting something that isn't then held back from you and dangled over your head until you pay an exorbitant amount for it because that ain't fun. Since this is our first go around, we're going to have kind of a segment called, Out Now at a local game store near you because these came out at the end of February. And we're going to start actually in Magic the Gathering. I want to, before we get into this set, even, I want to kind of highlight, let me pull this up on stage. The set design on Lorwyn Eclipse came out on the what when was this? I have notes on this, and it's literally just like release dates. I didn't get that shit ready. The 23rd. I think that pre-releases earlier in January, but January 23rd is when the full set was released. So this is on shelves in big box stores now as well. But a running theme through all these TCGs is going to be check your local hobby shop. It could even be a comic shop, especially comic shops are more inclined to be running some magic to help supplement their revenue, as opposed to a lot of these other games that Pokemon, especially, just is not a player's game. So it's not something that they can regularly rely on ordering and selling through that product. But Magic, definitely go support your local game shops because I'm sure they got plenty of this and they might even be able to hook you up with a deal. Look at the color schemes on this. Again, as someone who comes from like a comic background, um, the both calm but like otherworldly, ethereal feeling that they're able to convey through, the both the artwork, but just the color scheme alone. The colors, Duke. It's so effective. It's almost like they've been at this for almost 35 fucking years. Because as someone who isn't super into fantasy art or a fantasy environment for my storytelling, this is still enticing when I look at it on a shelf. It pulls me in with the mood it's able to set. Again, as someone who's just a sucker for good set theme, I totally get why, if you really, really like fantasy settings, Magic is able to provide it to you. And why, if this is something for anyone who isn't, who's kind of new to the game, especially from Pokemon, if you just have no bearing on it. Universes Beyond is when these other properties, WotC, Hasbro really has gone into partnership with, like Marvel, or Avatar: The Last Airbender was a set that was at least fairly well received amongst the fan base, and I would like to purchase some in the future. But like just these other properties from outside anything related to the lore and the story building that Magic has built in game through those decades. It feels like a bit of a slap in the face for a lot of those fans. So when we look at these cards, I completely understand. Let me remove this and add this guy. If I were a huge fan of that kind of fantasy art, I would absolutely I would feel robbed every time this isn't what I get out of my TCG, because a lot of this just feels like, I don't know, it's delivering like a variety of different art styles. Again, letting artists be artists. There isn't necessarily one distinct house style, which is something we might see with some of these other TCGs, but all of them still very much feel like they're part of one universe, right? They feel as unified in setting and theme, even if they're very obviously different stylistic choices that the artists are allowed to make. This Don Hand Eulogist is gorgeous. It's used on a lot of like the design face for products. Again, if you're into that kind of classic fantasy setting, I would feel robbed every time I heard there's going to be a like, I would understand when Lord of the Rings works. I understand even like a Final Fantasy, I could see how it works. I could see personally how an Avatar might work. Um, but yeah, you throw superheroes in the mix and it's like, man, why isn't that for again, anyone who isn't familiar, there was a product, or it still is a product called Secret Layer that it used to be, though, that's where those kind of like fun little experiments and almost meme cards would live. And I think a lot of fans of Magic still think, man, why couldn't we have just left that back there? But let's kind of scroll down here to where the hits are at. Got like our full art lands are pretty dope. Again, delivering that fantasy setting. Borderless cards all look gorgeous. These, like, spoiler alert, this is where I'm going to be collecting. I'm going to be waiting again till probably, what is it going to be? Summer is when like Marvel's coming out, and hopefully a lot more of this has been open by then. Until I purchase any singles in the Magic realm. But I'm someone who came to this thinking, I'm not even gonna be buying Magic anytime in the future. And then I started prepping for this video, and I'm like, oh fuck, some of this shit's fucking gorgeous. Showcase cards are a great if you're into like set collecting or like collecting subsets as I am. Um, really great ways that you can build a page of 9, 18, however big your binder page is. Uh, of very cards that very much match. You can see all the borders, how they would line up against one another in a much more satisfying way than just like the regular card borders would. Then we've got reverse shocklands, which are pretty fucking dope. Anyone not familiar at shocklands? If I understand the mechanic correctly, again, this is where you roast me. Please do. But they are imagine a land that has you can use there are two different manas, so pretty damn powerful in that respect. And then you throw these reverse, there's gorgeous art on both sides, pretty hard to beat. Headliner cards. So anyone not familiar, Magic has serialized cards often. Um in every set, but this is one where they're giving a treatment to this fairy rogue here. It's of 500 is our headliner. Then extended art cards feel a bit like filler, in my opinion. I'm sure that fans have their own opinion. I don't fucking know Magic that well. All of these, the Japanese showcase cards are, I'm guessing, going to be like the more expensive. And that Spine Rock Tyrant, in whether it's a fracture foil or a regular treatment, I'm sure you would be really fucking happy pulling that card. For my money, my like chase of this whole set, now that I'm realizing, oh shit, I'm gonna have to build a page of at least one page from this set, is here in the borderless cards. So I got it pictured in my mind already. You got the fire, grass, water. Water may be down below because then I got these other water creatures I can have below. Air, this flying legendary creature, top in the middle. So I've got my four cardinal directions of that page already mapped. Well, how about these five ballin' ass motherfuckers for that bottom or for the other slots of the binder page? This guy especially. This look at this emptiness, the black hole of a face in this guy as he's like broaching over the border even of his own like nameplate. Mwah, 1,000 chef kisses because this card alone made me think, oh shit, I'm gonna have to build a binder page around these fucking borderless cards because well, and the thirst trap planeswalker. He's got to be up in the mix. No, no, he's not making the cut. But that's magic again. If you really, really like that fantasy setting, it delivers it to you in spades. It's gorgeous looking. It's just not necessarily my cup of tea. I could see though, again, if it were my thing, I would feel, I don't know, almost like betrayed if I didn't get it every damn set. I'd be like, what are we doing here? So that will be our magic segment next. Gundam. So I was never too big on Gundam. I, of course, have been a fan of like Transformers in the past. My family liked what was it, Robotech, and Battle of the Planets was a big one in our household. I don't know. Everyone has their own reasons why you watch certain weird Japanese shows in the 80s and 90s. Which ones latched on in your household or your neighborhood or your schoolyard? And Gundam just wasn't one that latched with us. So I'm seeing already. I haven't looked at a whole lot of Gundam cards previously. I can see a higher rarity card here, though. These are the same Camphor dude, but this guy's got like the gold. I do like he's got like a silhouette of his badass self back there, which is pretty cool. I think there are others though. So yeah, that is not like a gold outline. So probably I'm guessing an alternate art style that's a lower rarity tier. And again, as a comic fan, I'm already digging that. That's a cool card. If Gundam's your thing, it's your thing. Even if it isn't, if Transformers or what, if one of those was your thing, look into this because it's gonna have some similarity, some things that drew you into that other property, some element of it that you're going to be able to find some elements in this other property. Something that just so you're not being dangled over a fucking cliff and like people are shaking the money out of your goddamn pockets just for Pokemon or whatever. Look at this shit. Look at him. Okay, boom. Because I shit, I wasn't looking too close at Gundam cards either. But this has got like the dot matrix shit going on that you'd see on like newsprint, old comic shit. Like this is already fucking speaking to me. So fuck. See, this is why this is gonna be dangerous. I shouldn't have done this. All right, because our next game, yeah, that's Gundam. I'm guessing the golds are gonna be your highest rarities. I don't know a whole lot. Hit me with that in the comments and like, if it is gonna be super playable because it's part of this like Bandai pump that's going the Bandai bubble, Bandai bump, if it's just a bump, if it's not a bubble. But my chase for my money, I'm either gonna go with this guy, the Zaku 2, or I really dug because that's the Zaku 2 is the one that had stuck out to me before, but I like this guy too. It feels very like Into the Spider-Verse, kind of like the elements of very modern art with blending in with like the typeface that we'd be used to on older like comics and shit. That's good. All right, so there's Gundam. Again, yeah, hit me in the comments if there's something really obvious about it that I'm missing. I think it's only third set. This is, yeah, GD3. So again, pretty young. If you're gonna get in on it, it's gonna be again a recurring theme. Maybe go to a local game shop, a local comic shop, some sort of local hobby shop. They might be your best bet on getting in on Gundam right now. And that is out now. That one is not one that we're waiting on. Same with this one is out now. And this talk about dangerous because I started looking into other TCGs to prep for this, and I have pulled the trigger on 2 booster boxes of this next game. The third set is out now. This is Godzilla, and you're looking at me. You're like, Phil, motherfucker. They're using just like stills from movies, and not just still art from movies that has no business being on cards in the year of our Lord 2025, and I wholeheartedly disagree with you, my friend. If you can't find the fun in this kind of goofy ass bullshit, then I don't think you're here for the right reasons. I'm gonna gatekeep you. If you like Godzilla, okay, if you can't handle me at my Jet Jaguar, then you don't deserve me, at my where's the ball in that? Yo, Eternal Mothra. Yeah, and you're laughing, you're like, "Oh, Eternal Mothra in this bitch." I saw someone pull this with the texture like the halo around Mothra on this motherfucker. I got set 2, set 3 is the one that's out right now. Very small game. In fact, if I were to pull up like the shop list, there are whole states that bunch of states that are just blank. They're just shops that don't there aren't a whole lot of boxes out there for the game. So everything in it seems to be it's more of a collectible card game than a trading card game because no one wants to trade their shit. They're like, no one else has this motherfucker. Hopefully they can gain some popularity and print some more boxes. Because look at this shit. Godzilla flies. If you don't know the meme about Godzilla flies, then you don't deserve to get that in the parallel, reverse hollow, whatever the fuck they call it. They also have these like token cards, rage cards that they're called as well. I think they're used in some part of like the side deck. It's a very interesting mechanic also on like the win conditions are like pushing your opponent, that's, their kaiju essentially off their part of the map or like invading some part. It's a very interesting the way they have it set up. But if I can just get like token cards with cool foiling, gold borders just for fucking ripping open a couple packs. Again, it's just going to be something that's for me. It speaks to me and what I'm looking for in like a goofiness. It's not going to speak to everybody. That's why we got a whole bunch of card games coming up here still. But look, I come on, tell me you don't want this goofy ass motherfucker. Didn't did everybody not like when you didn't have that decision at Blockbuster ready to go, did you not just pick whichever Godzilla you haven't seen yet? Was that not a thing for everybody else? So I have a lot of love in my heart for Godzilla. It also felt like something that remember marathons, remember movie marathons back in the day before you would binge it, it would be all commercial breaks. Godzilla would be a great one for some fucking movie marathons. So I have a love in my heart for it. I'm really learning about like the second set has like some fun chibi cards, like fun alt arts that shows that they're not taking this shit too seriously. I like that a whole lot. First set came out last summer and it's already climbed up to about I think MSRP on a booster box is only like 55 for this. Not a whole lot of cards or packs or cards come in a booster box. And that first one has already crept up to about like 90, I think. I might, for the first set, go to Japanese, as is tradition. When shit gets prohibitively expensive, go to another language because Japanese boxes for that first set, I think, are only like 60, 65, maybe. So, again, if that's, I already associate Godzilla with the Japanese language. I'm not going to be playing the game. I'm going to be collecting this for sure. And I say that famous last words like 6 months from now, I'm going to be the world champion of the Godzilla trading card game. But I'm just looking for something I can have some motherfucking fun with. And Super Mecha Godzilla, that's it. That's the one. Send it in. I'll take it. Look at that motherfucker. Come on. So that's Godzilla. Also set 3, also out right now. Also consult your local game shops. This one's going to be even harder. Like I said, if I went to, just want to show when I actually pull up the US list, select your state, look how many are grayed out. So understand, even if it isn't in your state, or if you select your state and you're like, oh, I'm in Missouri, but I'm not in Springfield. I'm up in Independence. Yeah, I'm up in Independence. You can still go to your local GameStop and be like, "Hey, how hard would it be Does your distributor have any access to this Godzilla game? It's small, but maybe they have some boxes sitting around. And if they don't, maybe they'd be willing to sign up for set four if that is something that's going to help them up their spend through their distributor and get access to some product that they actually do want. It's worth a shot, right? What else do we have coming up here? I think we are now broaching into. I should be posting this on Wednesday the 4th. This set comes out the Friday following this video, the 6th of January. Yu-Gi-Oh! 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 I've never been a huge fan of the trade dress, the design of Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards. But I more than anything, like if the art design is your thing, that's awesome. If you have like especially if you have a nostalgic love for it because it's been around for so long, I know that's the case for a lot of people. Amazing. Every time I look at a Yu-Gi-Oh card, what I'm struck by is the novel that is ready to greet me when I look down at the bottom of that card. Like, oh boy, I'm gonna have to do what when I play this? The most intimidating, like, I don't even know if I would bounce off Yu-Gi-Oh! Because I bounce off it before I bounce off it, and I feel like it's gotta be its biggest problem is it feels insurmountably, um, cumbersome, and complex, even if it isn't. I don't know how complex it really is. I, also have complaints so, like, these first, when I go back, the first source of looking at magic cards was not magic. It's not from like Wizards of the Coast, but magic's been around forever. Like fan sites got that shit down. When I go to search for Gundam, again, I just feel like anime fans, they got that fucking shit down. Godzilla, this is through their official site, is where we're looking through their cards. They need to, if I were to criticize them, give them some constructive criticism, make this a 4 slot and increase the size of the card, similar to what we're seeing on these other sites. And same with like, I cannot find for the life of me anything outside of this TCG Republic um, that really makes them much smaller than I feel like I say to Godzilla, where they don't know what the fuck they're doing. I, I have no idea about like the manufacturer Godzilla who makes that, but I feel like it might be their first TCG. Just a random guess. This though, for a TCG that's been around for how fucking long, and I can't find like a visual set list for a Yu-Gi-Oh release that's coming up feels just like unacceptable to me. Again, if it's your thing, we got a new Yu-Gi-Oh set coming up. Tell me what I'm missing about like awesome, amazing cards. I guess because this site is at least hooking us up with the prices. I know this dude's a dragon. It's kind of cool looking. I do kind of like that this site is at least kind of showing us a bit about how the foiling effect is going to show up for the card. If you haven't seen a Yu-Gi-Oh card in person, even if the design isn't for you, you should check out the foiling and texturing and shit at some point because they've definitely got some pretty cards. I don't know. Here's my pull of the set. Wake Cup. It's a chick in a teacup. And there's your chase of, I believe it is called Burst Protocol, is your Yu-Gi-Oh set. Should be hitting these set names. Gundam is Steel Requiem. We're gonna get all these bugs worked out as we go. I'm pretty sure Resonance of Rivals was our Godzilla set. Burst Protocol for Yu-Gi-Oh. Now let's get into Spirit Forged for Riftbound. Anybody not familiar with Riftbound? It is the League of Legends TCG. This very much has my complaint might be a house style. Similar to one of my complaints with Lorcana is there's too much of a feeling of a forced house style and not enough of letting artists breathe a bit. But again, League of Legends is a huge fan base, so I'm sure there are people out here supporting the game, trying to get it off the ground. Good for them. I'm seeing already a different rarity in Draven here. because he's popping off the border, and everything else I'm seeing uh, is the same. About I like little Morton Joe Fox motherfucker. Um, so I think it's looking right. I did. I remember looking down here at the higher rarity cards, and there are a couple where I was like, "Oh yeah, cool. I definitely get the appeal." And if I had one a very minor criticism for Riot Games for not running a TCG, they have this visual gallery set up really, really well. Just bump this thing up so that my filters and my search bar go away when I'm past the top of the screen. But otherwise, this is exactly what you need to allow players to analyze and prep for using these cards. Problem occurs if you are Riot Games, if you are having to issue a shit ton of erratas for these cards because some mechanics on them weren't play tested as thoroughly potentially as you could have. So you need to change the effects that actually occur when these people play the cards rather than the text that's on them. That could be a problem. But the really, really high rarity cards look gorgeous. This is where they're letting these artists shine in these different styles and genres, and wearing influences on sleeves and whatnot. It's where they are allowing that experimentation for sure. So that's where when I was previewing this, I was like, okay, no, I got to make sure, even though I don't like the overall look of most of the cards, I got to give them props for they're letting them experiment in some part of, and it's in the highest of rarities. Makes sense. My pull for this set, this Timo motherfucker, look at him, is your Uncle Iroh chipmunk. Bring it again, that cool, calm, serene pinks and blues from our Lorwyn Eclipse, but it feels ethereal and otherworldly and love it. I'll take it. He's my pull. That's your chase of the whole set. No idea if he's playable, no idea if he's popular, but I want him. I'll buy that motherfucker. Now we're getting into Lorcana. Got Lorcana going here. All right. So they break it up by the inks. And they do have here at the bottom of the inks is when we get into, for anyone unfamiliar, epics is going to be very similar to like a somewhere between a borderless and a what was it, extended art for magic, because sometimes these epic this set is the first time we're getting epics that are alternate arts, but that's also a rarity that's only just been introduced back in Fabled. So it's only 3 sets old. They're still experimenting with what they want it to be. It could be something that a couple sets from now, all epics are alt arts, and maybe they just weren't anticipating the need from the community to make this something that's different to make it more desirable. Because if anything, if for all the complaints you have about Ravensburger, and people have plenty of them, they listen to people's feedback, which is great. uh, the Enchanteds all have very much a set theme throughout most of them. Rockstar Lilo might be an exception, but then we even have our first iconic being shown off here is Pocahontas. I do like Ravensburger has it set up so that you can kind of see how the foiling and effects will look in motion on the card, because I do feel like that's something that anytime you're looking at any TCG through a digital screen, it's just not going to be able to convey what it's actually going to look like to hold and feel these cards. The Tinkerbell legendary, I saw someone pull the embossing on her with the full like snowbank, look fucking gorgeous. The epics, we got Tigger, we got Anna, Genie, my boy. The Eeyore Enchanted has a lot of folks pretty happy. Colors of the Wind looks gorgeous. A lot of playability as well going on, that I'm just way out of the loop on. I know though, Moana letting you ink out of your discard, it seems like a really damn big deal. I'm pretty sure, when I've heard other people talk about that mechanic through like Magic, it definitely changed the meta. Todd in Fox and the Hound getting a enchanted is very interesting. Lawn out in the snow setting is pretty dope. Ruby's been missing some support So it's got an Elsa that's, I think, going to see some play from what I understand. But Negaduck, we've got Negaduck and Darkwing Duck getting added. They both got enchanteds in this set, which is pretty damn dope. And what do we got here in a Sapphire? Scrooge McDuck looks great. The bell, saw someone pull bell on a stream, looks so fucking gorgeous. The wind-swept nature, like I wonder if, yeah, when I'm moving it a little bit, it doesn't do it as well with the enchanteds. Looked gorgeous when I saw someone pull it on the stream. Same with the Moana. When I saw the lore cast, when they actually show that card in motion, anyone who's complaining about these iconics compared to Whispers in the Well, and this is from a giant Whispers in the Well stand, they're just objectively wrong. Both the Moana and the Pocahontas look so gorgeous, and I cannot wait to see them in person. Our Darkwing Duck Enchanted is pretty damn dope. He's got like his little repelling gun there, and we've got Let's Get Dangerous for the song. It's got its own Enchanted and Angel. I never watched any of the Lilo and Stitch TV show, but apparently she was well liked on the show. I like Lilo and Stitch the movie a hell of a lot, but I never watched any of the show. Donald Duck, along for the ride. There's a big snowball fight in this Winter Spell set. Winter Spell. Yeah, I remembered to mention the name. It's only, most of the way through. So that's going to be a fun subset to collect. And then we got Judy Hopps for Shug's Bunny Binder. If you know, you know. But that is Lorcana. And that is February 20th is when that is released. And I forgot for Riftbound is the 13th. I'm referring to my notes. 15th. So yeah, we have Yu-Gi-Oh! Burst Protocol on the 6th. The next Friday will be Riftbound, and then the Friday after that, we've got Orcana Winter Spell. We've got the One Piece Booby set, and we've got Ascended Heroes actually finally releasing. So let's get into that bit here. Boobies, Heroines Edition. I just think it's funny that the one guy had the video that he's getting a bunch of attention for. Where he's like, "Well, a lot of boobies out there. There are a lot of boobies in One Piece. So not all of them. We got Hibari out here is just showing a little bit of belly with a badass gun and shit. So again, I don't know anything about One Piece. Tell me, I know what I guess. Here's what I do know about One Piece is good for them that they found a fan base before all the fucking hype machines tried to came in. They came in and tried to blow their shit up. Here's where I think One Piece is going to be fine. All their fans really, really like both the IP. Like anyone who thinks like One Piece is like a flash in the pan. I'm from like the comics and anime manga world. One Piece has a very, very large fan base. Um, but it also, as a TCG was finding a fan base, people really, really like the quick action gameplay of One Piece. And in a TCG world where a lot of this shit is a fucking slog out here, they had that going for them. So I don't feel like One Piece is going to like once the all the sneaker heads or whatever it is that you want to say is the gigantic cause of all the problems. Once that goes away, I don't think it's just going to like completely pop and be decimated. I do like these cards that are almost like they feel like playing cards. Feel like good designs on those. They I don't think would even be like the highest rarity from what I was like picking up a little bit. So I feel like if that was my thing, I could pick up a set of these like playing card ones. Um, and they probably wouldn't be this like, for example, this chick, the Perona, that looks like the base rarity. This looks like it would be like that medium rarity. And this, because of the level of detail, seems like it would be the highest rarity. Tell me if I'm way off on that. Just as someone from the outside looking in. Here's Big Booby Girl, Big Booby Girl. She apparently there are big booby girls in One Piece. So if you're looking for booby girls, they got the booby set coming out. I'm wondering how many times I can say booby before this video just gets recommended in like birdwatcher algorithms and shit. But yeah, all the boobies. I like her boobies. I like instead of like the custom, gigantic melon anime boobies, this lady's letting her boobies flow. These are nice, natural, low hanging buttes, and I like that kind of thing. So that's my chase for the whole set right there. Um, Boobies, boobies, boobies. No, you know what? Honestly, my set is a set of those playing card guys because they do look pretty cool. I'm not trying to like shit on One Piece and be like, "Oh, you're drinking all through the card." No, I'm doing the meme because the booby guy. Let's move on because again, I don't know how many times I'm allowed to say booby. Sended Heroes ETBs come out on the 20th. I don't know how much time I'm going to spend because it's a reprint set. There are certain Pokemon who or certain cards that are being introduced. Of course, that Mega Charizard. I think it's the Y. Why I don't know. He's on third, and I don't give a darn. So let's move on. Um, bunch of reprints. I was trying to remember. There is an Minori card in this set, isn't there? Oh, that's epic. Yeah. Didn't it just jump right out at you? Like, oh, where's the Ken Sugimori? I remember that epic. Look at this. Look at the action roughness conveyed in like the shadowing underneath Tepig as he's showing up, clearly snorting that fucking line of fire at motherfuckers. Classic like Sugimori watercoloring with the balancing of the whites to show highlights in the image. Unanori. If I pull that in a reverse hollow slot, that pack was a hit. But let's go back to what other people are going to be considering their hits. Let's go up. So Erica's Tangela. That's on my chase list right there. I would love to pull that card. I'm not going to pull any of these cards because apparently we're not going to be able to find packs. I'm hoping my comic shop that I've frequented for years, and this is the only reason why I would even ask them such a thing because I've never bought Pokemon from them before. I bought comics, but I'm hoping, just like with Destin Rivals, they've been able to do Journey together. When things were hurting, they pulled through for me before. I'm gonna ask them, hey, do you got an ETB of Ascended Heroes? The Mischievous I like a lot. I'm not super familiar with the artist. Mashu definitely pops out. I was digging up on the Team Rockets Mimikyu. It's I personally my chases, if I'm gonna be totally honest, outside of the mega attack rares, it's Dreepy and Drakloak by Jerky. So I can get them lined up with that Dragapult from Prismatic. That's it's a motherfucking gem. The dude is a gem. It's gonna look so fucking ballin' with that shit. This dude, who's the artist? I never know. Yuka Hiro Tada. He's the dude who's also got like the Executor. Was it Pancrete or whatever? Um, oh my Alolan Doug Trio, because Alolan Doug Trio is my motherfucking dude. Really great art style that we're gonna be able to line up all these cards, kind of make a little scenes. That's definitely on a bit of my chase list there. Mega attack rares though. I've said it a couple times already this video. I am a mark for these because I am a comic book fan. So when I see this cool like manga comic art being illustrated, that's going to hit my nostalgia tinge zones. If you're stoked about the set, I'm happy for you. I'm just not huge on a lot of the designs of Mega Pokemon, but we've got our Mega starters here, looking pretty clean. I'm not huge on the Mega for Alligator. I also don't think it's like so ridiculous because I'm like, I don't know, we're playing Pokemon here. What's nothing's too ridiculous, is it? I think I like the Mega Frostlass maybe the most. I have built a big love of Frostlass because that Frostlass Monkey Dory deck is so fun. Even when I fucked myself over, just having that pressure building throughout a match was so much fun. So I've kind of built up a big love of Frostlass and the design, and even the mega design feels like it brings like these Japanese vibes that are great. We got Forest Pikachu, feels very much, and I've seen people remark on this. These like very soft lines, soft backgrounds. It feels like it should be a Japanese gem pack exclusive, but we got it. So I'm on board for that. The prismatic Pikachu EX here, Derpy Chew, if you want to call him that. And then we move on. Mega Electros doesn't, it looks kind of weird to me. Melly Bolt apparently is really gaining in popularity. And people do love Iono for sure. And people love Lily and they love Clefairy. I think kind of overlooked. Oh, yeah, we skipped back here. Okay. Yeah, the Team Rocket's Mewtwo looks bad. I'm gonna say it. And I know it's Arita. I just don't think it looks good. I feel like it's Mewtwo's about to drop like the hottest hip hop album of 1997, and I'm not buying it. Mega Diancie. People love the Mega Halucha. I love the market sentiment around Mega Greninja at the time was like, it's just like a weird explosion of color. And then people were like, well, the Mega Halucha, the Mega Greninja. Okay, cool. Whatever it is that you need to justify liking a card. I just feel like sometimes people don't know what it is they even like. We got Mega Scrafty, Mega Scalper, and Zora Arc would very much match the Gardevoir. What was it? Mega Evolutions that has like the cool ass framing and shit around it. This Grim Snarl, is that still as playable as it was when I was dropping the game? I think Absol was going to take over and as kind of like that darkness deck. Pheasant Dippity looks pretty. Not a huge Metagross fan. Not a Dragonite fan, Mega Dragonite fan. Also, not even really a Dragonite fan. Honestly, this trainer, the Surfer trainer card looks dope. That's one of the coolest trainer cards they've had in a minute. And then the gold cards are going to be gaudy and ugly. We do also have our reverse hollows. What's that? Love ball or friend ball or something like that. And we've got a Rocket R reverse as well as I. One of these is like love ball, friendship ball. I think is what it's supposed to be, which I do think is interesting rather than going with a Pokeball Master Ball. I think I might like that more. I think it might be kind of fun eventually to have them all as an option, maybe, so that you could maybe even go with like a every water type would get like a whatever the depth ball or whatever it is. The nest ball is just like for level. I'm trying to remember what the bug one is. Man, it's been a minute since I played some Pokemon. But yeah, if you could have like the reverse hollow slots that would match like the typing, and then reserve like the textured, because I know they wanted to do textured Pokeball and Master Balls for Prismatic, thinking, man, that would really just make it something that people would want to chase after. I think it would be more dope to just go with textured uh, type symbols for. I think that would make textured reverse hollows more chaseable because anybody who pulled a Pokeball textured reverse just felt like they got absolutely nothing. Even when your Master Ball has no value, you felt like you caught the Pokemon, if that makes sense. So maybe just having Pokeballs that match typing and textured reverses being type symbols. Just a pitch. I'm spitballing out here. But that is Pokemon, and it is again because they've fumbled the fucking bag so hard. Comes out on February 20th instead of whenever the hell it was supposed to. All right, we're rounding home base. This one's kind of a teaser because we're actually looking at Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles comes out in March, but because pre-orders, again, follow the theme here. If you go to a local game shop, local comic shop, say, do you do pre-releases for Teenage Mutant for Magic? I'm interested in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. You can play this shit in January and not have to wait. But as of right now, we only have certain amount of reveals. We might have even gotten more, and I haven't looked them all up, but I already had another Magic set. Really, what I wanted to highlight was down here, doubling season. So that's for anyone who isn't aware. Again, take a shot because I'm mentioning it again. I'm a comic fan. That is the cover of the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #1. Only had 4,000 or whatever copies that were even printed of that first printing. It Seeing these little bits of comic book history. We'll get into this when I do a singles video and I'm buying Spider-Man singles from Magic. There's something about having that ephemeral collectible in another form. Remember Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #1? It's back in cardboard form. There's something about that I understand what makes Magic fans so frustrated about Universes Beyond, but I also understand from a company standpoint why it might be nice to have some other motherfuckers like me going, "Ooh, am I gonna fucking buy this? Am I going to be there? Like, am I actually gonna start cracking collectors boxes of Magic just because I'm gonna chase cards?" They might start getting some money at him. What else? But honestly, before I even hit you with the other thing, because if I got you this long, I know that you're a true believer, right? And you're willing to listen and think, yeah, I'll expand my horizons a little bit. Here is your chase of February outside of trading card games, comics, right? So over in Oni Press is a publisher that has acquired the rights to EC Comics. For anyone unfamiliar, this is the publisher back in the 50s that published Tales from the Crypt, Vault of Horror, like these really beloved 50s horror comics and sci-fi comics. They did Weird Science that the movie and TV show was very loosely based off. Um, the Weird Science 16 cover that the Mars Attacks trading cards and then subsequent movie was based off of. EC Comics has a lot of history that it has paved for, that it was part of and then paved in how it affected the outcomes of the comic book history. Long story short, it's been revived back in 2025. One of the reasons I wasn't stressed about Pokemon going crazy, because I have cool ass shit like this. This is a one shot. Tortured Hearts goes on sale. What is this? That's the other solicit. On the 11th, Catacomb of Torment is also their ongoing horror, just to give that a little bit of a bump. This is a one shot. Obviously going to be Valentine's theme, so I thought it'd be very appropriate to get this pumped as well. If you're looking again to broaden your horizons, if you want something in your life that's going to just provide a little bit of cool fun, how about some bloody, gory romance comics? How about that? Um, and you know what? If you don't like it, you can go rip some packs of some other languages. You can go. Let me pop myself back into the screen. You can go buy some singles of the TCG that you love already, even if you don't want to go too far outside the box and just trying to stretch your mind a little bit on like what it is that you get out of any fucking hobby, and maybe that might reposition you on like, okay, well, this is actually what I care about, so now I'm going to make some different decisions. I might pay some attention to some motherfucking shit other than what's being dangled in front of me all the time. But that's all I got. Definitely, I swear I'm going to be recording that video of me shopping for some singles. Now that I've got all these games that are tempting me, that's definitely going to happen. So subscribe and hit the bell if you want to get notified on that. What else? I love you all. TCGs are what you make of them, and may your pulls be blessed and take it easy. But happy Valentine's, and that too.